Have you ever looked in the mirror after brushing your teeth and wondered, how is that yellow, rock-hard buildup back already? You brush. You floss. You even use mouthwash. Yet somehow, the same ugly tartar appears. In the exact same place. Again. And again. Most people blame poor brushing. Dentists often tell you, you just need to clean better. But what if I told you? The real reason tartar keeps coming back has almost nothing to do with how hard you're brushing. And here's something even more shocking. That hard yellow deposit on your teeth may not just be a cosmetic problem. It could be opening the door to inflammation throughout your entire body. Researchers have discovered oral bacteria inside clogged arteries, inside painful joints, and even in areas affected by certain chronic inflammatory diseases. How can bacteria from your mouth end up in completely different parts of your body? Today, we're going to uncover the science behind tartar that almost nobody explains. You'll learn why tartar always forms in the same location, why brushing alone isn't enough, why it hardens so quickly, and the simple habits that can dramatically reduce its return after a professional cleaning. Most importantly, you'll understand why preventing tartar is about much more than having a brighter smile. Let's begin. When most people hear the word tartar, they immediately think about yellow stains on teeth. Something that looks unattractive. Something the dentist scrapes away every 6 months. But tartar is actually much more than a stain. To understand why, we first need to understand what happens inside your mouth every single day. Your mouth is home to hundreds of different species of bacteria. Now don't panic. Not all bacteria are harmful. Many actually help keep your mouth healthy. The problem begins when these bacteria organize themselves into what scientists call a biofilm. Think of a biofilm as a tiny bacterial city. Instead of floating around individually, bacteria attach themselves to your teeth and begin producing a sticky protective layer. This soft, sticky film is what we call plaque. Plaque isn't hard. You can remove it with brushing and flossing. But here's where everything changes. If plaque isn't removed regularly, it begins absorbing minerals naturally present in your saliva. Slowly, that soft bacterial film starts transforming into something much harder. Eventually, it becomes tartar. And once tartar forms, your toothbrush has almost no chance of removing it. At that point, it becomes almost like cement attached to your teeth. That's why dentists use specialized instruments to scrape it away. But here's the part many people don't realize. The tartar you can see above your gums is only part of the story. Some tartar develops below the gum line, hidden from view. This hidden buildup continuously irritates your gums. As the irritation increases, your gums become swollen, sensitive, and prone to bleeding. Have you ever noticed blood in the sink while brushing? Many people assume they're brushing too hard. Sometimes that's true. But persistent bleeding can also be a warning sign that your gums are inflamed because bacteria have been accumulating underneath them. Inflamed gums become much easier for bacteria to penetrate. Tiny microscopic openings can develop between the tooth and the gum tissue. Those openings create an opportunity for bacteria, and bacterial byproducts, to enter deeper tissues. This is why researchers have spent years investigating whether poor oral health could influence health elsewhere in the body. Several studies have found associations between gum disease and conditions such as cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and rheumatoid arthritis. It's important to understand something, though. Finding bacteria or bacterial DNA in other parts of the body does not automatically prove that tartar directly causes these diseases. Science is still investigating exactly how these relationships work. However, there is growing evidence that chronic gum inflammation may contribute to systemic inflammation in some people. That's one reason dentists place so much emphasis on preventing gum disease, not just protecting your teeth. Now let's clear up one of the biggest misconceptions about tartar. Many people think, if tartar is hard, then I must be eating too much calcium. That sounds logical. But it's usually not the real explanation. Your body carefully regulates calcium levels. The calcium involved in tartar formation primarily comes from your saliva, not simply from the calcium-rich foods you eat. In fact, your saliva naturally contains a surprisingly high concentration of minerals. Those minerals are actually designed to protect your teeth by helping repair early microscopic damage. Unfortunately, those same minerals can also harden plaque if it's left sitting on your teeth long enough. This brings us to another mystery. Why do some people seem to develop heavy tartar no matter what, while others rarely get any at all? Scientists believe part of the answer lies in your saliva. Saliva doesn't just contain calcium. It also contains natural proteins that help regulate whether minerals stay dissolved, or begin forming crystals. Some people naturally produce more of these protective substances. Others produce less. That means two people with similar brushing habits can have completely different amounts of tartar buildup. Genetics, saliva composition, oral bacteria, and daily habits all play important roles. But there's one fascinating detail that explains why tartar almost always appears in the exact same location. And once you understand this, you'll never look at your lower front teeth the same way again. So why does tartar almost always show up in the same place? If you've ever noticed that the hard yellow buildup keeps returning behind your lower front teeth, even after a professional cleaning, you're not imagining it. It's not because you're missing that spot with your toothbrush. And it's not because those teeth are somehow weaker than the others. The real reason is hidden beneath your jaw. Right under your tongue are two major salivary glands called the submandibular glands. These glands work around the clock, producing saliva that travels through tiny ducts and empties into your mouth just behind your lower front teeth. Think of these glands as tiny natural faucets that never completely turn off. Every minute of every day, they release saliva packed with minerals like calcium and phosphate. These minerals are essential because they help protect your teeth from acid damage and even repair microscopic wear before it turns into a cavity. But nature always comes with trade-offs. Those same minerals that help strengthen your teeth can also harden plaque into tartar if that plaque isn't removed in time. That's why the inside of your lower front teeth is often the first place tartar appears. It's constantly being bathed in mineral-rich saliva. Imagine pouring wet cement onto the same section of sidewalk every day. Eventually, it starts to build layer upon layer. That's essentially what's happening inside your mouth. But here's where things become even more interesting. Researchers have discovered that not everyone develops tartar at the same rate. Some people can go months with very little buildup. Others seem to develop it almost immediately after leaving the dentist. Why? Scientists believe one reason is that saliva contains natural substances that slow down crystal formation. These substances act like tiny bodyguards, preventing minerals from sticking together too quickly. People who naturally produce more of these protective compounds tend to develop less tartar. People who produce fewer may experience much faster buildup. Unfortunately, once tartar begins forming, it creates an ideal surface for even more plaque to attach. Think about the surface of a brand new glass table. It's smooth. Dust doesn't cling very easily. Now imagine covering that table with rough sandpaper. Suddenly everything sticks to it. That's exactly what tartar does. Its rough surface gives bacteria countless tiny places to hide, making it easier for new plaque to attach. That new plaque then absorbs more minerals, which creates even more tartar. It's a frustrating cycle. The more tartar you have, the easier it becomes to collect even more. And that's why professional cleanings are so important. But here's something many people don't realize. Removing tartar isn't enough by itself. After scaling your teeth, dentists should also polish the tooth surfaces. Why? Because scaling instruments can leave microscopic scratches behind. You can't see them. You can't feel them. But bacteria certainly can. Those tiny grooves become perfect landing pads for fresh plaque. Polishing smooths the enamel again, making it much harder for bacteria to grab hold. It's a small step that can make a meaningful difference in slowing tartar buildup. Now here's the most shocking fact of all. Tartar begins forming far sooner than most people think. Many people believe they have days before plaque becomes a problem. The truth is much more surprising. Within about 8 hours, tiny mineral crystals can begin forming inside plaque, especially in those saliva-rich areas behind the lower front teeth. Think about that for a second. If you brush thoroughly before bed, and then skip brushing the next morning, those early crystal formations may already be underway before lunchtime. And it doesn't stop there. Over the next couple of days, more and more minerals become trapped inside the plaque. The soft bacterial film gradually transforms into something harder and more stubborn. By the time nearly 2 weeks have passed, most of that plaque may have mineralized into tartar that's firmly attached to the tooth. At that point, no fancy toothbrush, no expensive toothpaste, and no amount of aggressive scrubbing will remove it. Only professional dental instruments can safely take it off. That's why consistency matters so much more than intensity. Many people brush extremely hard once a day. But brushing hard isn't what prevents tartar. Brushing before plaque has time to harden is what makes the difference. Timing beats force. Every single time. Now let's talk about another habit that surprises many people. Sleeping with your mouth open. When you sleep with your mouth open, moisture evaporates much faster. Your mouth becomes drier. Saliva no longer spreads evenly across your teeth. A dry mouth creates an environment where plaque can become thicker and stickier, while also reducing saliva's natural cleansing effect. If nasal congestion, allergies, or snoring cause you to breathe through your mouth at night, it's worth discussing those issues with a healthcare professional or dentist, because improving nasal breathing can benefit both your oral health and overall sleep quality. Another factor people rarely think about is diet. Some people who switch to a low-carbohydrate or ketogenic diet notice changes in their mouths. This doesn't necessarily mean the diet is harming their teeth. Lower sugar intake often reduces the risk of cavities because harmful acid-producing bacteria have less fuel. However, the balance of bacteria inside the mouth may shift, and saliva chemistry may change. Some people report noticing more tartar buildup, although individual experiences vary. The important thing isn't abandoning an otherwise healthy eating pattern. It's understanding that different diets may require paying closer attention to oral hygiene. No matter what diet you follow, plaque still needs to be removed before it hardens. So now we know. Tartar forms fastest where mineral-rich saliva collects. Some people naturally produce more protective substances than others. Tartar creates a rough surface that attracts even more plaque. Crystal formation can begin in as little as 8 hours. And once tartar hardens, brushing alone can't remove it. But here's the biggest question of all. If tartar starts forming so quickly, what can you actually do every single day to stop it before it becomes a problem? So now we know something that most people never hear. Tartar doesn't suddenly appear overnight. It starts as soft plaque, begins collecting minerals within hours, and eventually hardens into something your toothbrush can no longer remove. That means preventing tartar isn't about brushing harder. It's about interrupting the process before it reaches the point of no return. The good news? You don't need expensive gadgets or miracle products. You simply need a routine that works with the biology of your mouth instead of against it. Let's break it down. Rule number 1, brush twice a day, but timing matters more than pressure. Here's one of the biggest mistakes people make. They brush aggressively. Some even believe that if they scrub harder, they'll remove more plaque. In reality, brushing too hard can wear down enamel over time and irritate your gums. The goal isn't to scrub your teeth. The goal is to remove plaque before it has enough time to harden. Think back to what we learned earlier. Mineral crystals can begin forming in plaque within about 8 hours, especially around the lower front teeth. That's why brushing before bed is one of the most important things you can do. While you're sleeping, your mouth naturally produces less saliva. Saliva normally helps wash away food particles and bacteria. With less saliva at night, plaque has more time to remain undisturbed. If you go to bed without brushing, you're giving bacteria several uninterrupted hours to grow and begin mineralizing. That's why your nighttime brushing routine matters even more than your morning one. And when you brush, don't rush it. Spend a little extra time cleaning the inside surfaces of your lower front teeth, right where tartar tends to form first. Hold the toothbrush at about a 45-degree angle toward the gum line and use gentle circular motions. The gum line is where plaque likes to hide. Cleaning this area thoroughly every day can make a significant difference over time. Rule number 2, don't forget between your teeth. Here's something many people overlook. Your toothbrush can only reach about 60% of the tooth's surface. The remaining areas, especially between your teeth, are where plaque can quietly build up. That's where floss or other interdental cleaners come in. Removing plaque from these tight spaces helps reduce the overall bacterial load in your mouth and lowers the chance of tartar forming where your brush can't reach. You don't have to floss aggressively. Gentle, consistent cleaning is what matters. Rule number 3, keep your mouth moist while you sleep. Earlier, we talked about mouth breathing. It may seem harmless. But waking up with a dry mouth isn't just uncomfortable. A dry mouth means saliva can't do its job as effectively. Saliva helps wash away bacteria, neutralize acids, and protect your teeth. When your mouth stays dry for hours, plaque can become thicker and stickier. If you often wake up with a dry mouth, consider whether you're breathing through your mouth while sleeping. Nasal congestion, allergies, or snoring may contribute. If this happens regularly, talk with a healthcare professional or dentist to identify the cause. Improving nighttime breathing may benefit both your oral health and your sleep quality. Rule number 4, choose toothpaste that helps fight plaque. Not all toothpastes are exactly the same. One ingredient that has been studied for helping reduce plaque is baking soda, also known as sodium bicarbonate. Baking soda is mildly abrasive, helping remove plaque without being overly harsh when used in toothpaste formulations. It also helps neutralize acids produced by bacteria, creating a healthier environment inside the mouth. Some toothpastes also contain ingredients like zinc citrate, which may help reduce plaque and slow tartar formation in some people. Another ingredient you may see is xylitol. Unlike regular sugar, xylitol isn't easily used by many cavity-causing bacteria. Sugar-free gum or mints containing xylitol may also stimulate saliva production, which can support oral health, especially after meals when brushing isn't possible. These ingredients aren't magic. But when combined with good brushing and flossing habits, they can provide additional support. Rule number 5, professional cleaning still matter. Even with excellent oral hygiene, some tartar will eventually form. That's completely normal. Once tartar hardens, home care won't remove it. This is where professional dental cleanings become important. Your dentist or dental hygienist uses specialized instruments to safely remove tartar above and below the gum line. But here's something worth remembering. After the tartar is removed, the teeth should also be polished. Why? Because a smoother tooth surface gives bacteria fewer places to cling. It's a small step, but it can help slow the return of plaque. If you're due for a cleaning, don't wait until you have pain. Preventive care is almost always easier, and often less costly, than treating advanced gum disease. What about diet? Many people ask whether avoiding calcium will stop tartar. The answer is no. Your body needs calcium for healthy bones, muscles, nerves, and teeth. Reducing calcium intake isn't the solution. As we discussed earlier, the minerals involved in tartar formation primarily come from your saliva, not simply from calcium-rich foods. Instead of eliminating healthy foods, focus on limiting sugary snacks and drinks, staying hydrated, and maintaining a consistent oral hygiene routine. If you're following a ketogenic or low-carbohydrate diet and notice more tartar, don't assume the diet is damaging your teeth. Lower sugar intake may reduce cavity risk, but changes in saliva chemistry or oral bacteria can affect tartar formation differently from person to person. Good oral care remains the key. The bigger picture. At first glance, tartar seems like a small cosmetic issue. Just a little yellow buildup. Something you scrape off every few months. But now you know the truth. Tartar is a sign that plaque has been sitting on your teeth long enough to harden. If it extends below the gum line, it can contribute to gum inflammation, making it easier for harmful bacteria to thrive. Healthy gums aren't just about having a nice smile. They're an important part of your overall health. Research continues to explore links between gum disease and conditions such as heart disease, diabetes, and rheumatoid arthritis. While these studies show important associations, scientists are still working to understand exactly how these relationships develop. What we do know is this: taking care of your mouth supports your overall well-being. And preventing tartar is much easier than treating the problems it can contribute to. So remember these 5 habits. Heavy checkmark: brush twice a day, especially before bed. Heavy checkmark: clean between your teeth every day. Heavy checkmark: try to breathe through your nose while sleeping if possible. Heavy checkmark: choose a toothpaste with ingredients that help control plaque, such as baking soda. Heavy checkmark: visit your dentist regularly for professional cleanings and polishing. These simple habits won't just help keep your teeth cleaner. They can help protect your gums, preserve your smile, and support your health for years to come. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next evidence-based health video. And here's a question for you. How often do you get tartar buildup? Every few months, or does it seem to come back almost immediately after a cleaning? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your experience. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.